All right, with Catriona Baker, really interesting film, Ball Lightning, played at the Experimental Dance Music Film Festival. But this is also a documentary, so it's an animation experimental documentary. I guess that's how you describe it, right? But I think it's a documentary first. Yeah.
Correct. Documentary first. It was
So are
also
you
really
an
important to me that it was done in the express. I'm sorry?
I'm sorry, I apologize for. Are you an animator or a documentarian first?
I'm an animator,
So,
and I teach animation at Lesley University.
and what have you made an animation documentary before this film?
Uh, no, I've made actually I've made mostly I make work about social justice. So I've done I guess it would be documentary, but it's very short films about domestic violence or sexual assault.
So this is a long. This is like for an animation short. It's a longer film. It's 10 minutes. What motivated you to make this story about this gentleman coming from the Soviet bloc? This is my generation. A lot of kids don't know about this. Yeah.
It's so true. Um, it was during COVID that I was stuck in bed. Oops, I'm sorry. I was stuck in bed during COVID, and I had a bunch of surgeries. I couldn't do anything, and I was thinking about the most compassionate woman that I ever knew, and she had survived so much in life. And I had a colleague who called me up and asked, how are you keeping your spirits up? And I told him the story about this woman, and he said, that sounds like a film. When you get out, when you're back on your feet again, I hope to see your concept art.
So they may have motivated you, I guess, right?
So that's how it came. Yes, yes. COVID definitely motivated me.
And then how long ago? That was 5 years ago, 5, 6 years ago.
5 years ago, yep. And I made the film with my students and my colleagues from Lesley University.
Oh wow! So everybody kind of banded together and did the animation. Yeah.
Yeah. And I did all the animation that's oil paint on panel. Um, and I did all the background, and helped with all the animation. So yeah, I did a little bit of everything. Um, sorry, my pods are just dying on me.
Okay.
You can still hear
I
me
can hear
okay,
you.
yeah?
Yeah. Yeah. Good.
Just a moment. Sorry. How about that? Is that
Yep.
better?
You're all good though the whole time. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah. No
sorry.
problem.
So yeah, so working with my students, and so the film itself has 110 watercolor backgrounds and 52 oil paintings.
Wow. And so then it took how long did it take to make the film? You guys just did it through a semester or a year?
It took 5 years, and I went through and I used it as a teaching tool during those 5 years to bring up interns and teach them how to work on these different programs. And I worked with a couple of alumni that were in my senior class, and three of us stayed on through the whole 5 years.
Wow. So this is kind of a unique, like you said, the watercolor. So it's kind of like almost like a timeless animation where it's not. I know you work in special effects as well, but it's like really kind of like hand drawn. It's unique in its own way, right? For especially in today's world.
Correct. I wanted to make sure that because it was a memoir and a documentary, I wanted to really feel like a sketchbook, like you were wandering through my memories. And so I really wanted to feel like it was ephemeral, and then the oil painted parts, I really wanted them to feel heavy and messy and sort of out of control. And the only medium I could think of that really responded like that was oil, because it's so unpredictable. And so much of animation these days is really planned and predictable. And so I wanted something that was sort of out of control.
So how did you kind of put the story together? You interviewed her and kind of like wrote a script, I'm assuming, before you started the animation.
Yes, there's a 22-page script. Um, and I interviewed family members and everyone who knew her, and retraced her story. And then I did research on what was happening in Germany and in East behind the block or behind the Iron Curtain at those times. So I was able to sort of net together her past and her whole life.
Gotcha. And then has she seen the film?
She passed away. Um, so she passed away when I was 10.
Oh, gotcha. Sorry, I apologize, but I meant like the family. Has anybody in the family seen the film?
Oh yes. Oh my gosh. Yeah. So it's so funny because I showed it to family members and they were like, "Oh my gosh, I remember those plates. I remember that cup." Right? And they remembered all the little details and it really brought back some wonderful memories. And the other thing that was really fun about it was doing it. I had the production sheet and the character design based off of my memory.
Yeah.
And I worked with my students, and one of my students, Amy Ham, said, "Can I give a pass at it, another character design based off of the way that you're describing her?" And I had no photos except for the tiny ones that are at the end of the film. So I really had nothing really referenced that I could use. So my student, based off of my stories, created the character design. And then when my brother saw it, he said, "Oh, did you see this picture of you with her that was really a big picture?" And we nailed it. It was exactly how she looks.
Wow. So you really did a gift to to the family. Like they have this film forever for the rest of their lives. They can show it to generation to generation.
Yes, and my fingers are crossed that somehow this film will get to Esther, who is Gusta's daughter, that she never made contact with. And if not Esther, then one of her family members. And I also feel like this is a story that is really right now based on so many children are separated from their families because of war.
Mhm.
And so I want them all to know that they are loved by their families and they are missed.
Yeah, 100%. And I guess that's the theme of your film, right?
Yeah.
You're using,
It's about love, resilience, and surviving the trauma of war.
yeah, you're using the individual story to tell the grand thematic, right?
Mhm. Correct.
So how many people were like a part of the film? Like you said, through 5 years, there was people coming in and out. Some people lasted a long time. So how many people were do you think worked like at least a day on the film?
Yeah, I think I had about 15 people total that at least put their fingerprint on this film somehow. I even worked with the high school near me to take on interns so that I could teach them how to do animation. And again, I really use this as a teaching tool going forward.
So you're just
And by the way, I'll also have to make a shout out to my audio colleague, Robert Gifford, because it would not, animation without sound is just moving pictures.
it's so funny. That's my next question. So okay, so the sound design, it's fantastic. You just said Robert worked on the sound design. How did you do it? Did you finish the whole animation and then show it to him? Like, what was the process with the sound design?
No, it was process, and he is a saint for working with me because as I kept making the film, I'd go back to the place, the location that it happened, and come back with actual sounds like the piano. I was like, "Oh, I found the old piano," and I would record it and bring it back and say, "Can you put that in?" Um, and then as we were doing it, we did a couple audio tracks. I had actually three other actors that came and did a script read on it. And Robert directed all of them. And then he came in and he directed me on saying the story. And I gave him all four of them, all four of the reads. And I said, "You're the audio person. You know how this should sound. You know the story. So it's pick whoever you want." And he chose my read on it.
Oh wow. So he chose you, I guess.
Yeah,
Yeah. So you're the voice of Trina.
correct. Yeah.
Do you
Yeah.
have experience doing voiceover work?
No, I'm terrible actually at it. I am the worst actress I think I could possibly meet. I worked on I used to be a DJ for a punk rock station, but I have an NPR voice, so it didn't quite mesh. But I think that somehow Robert, because he's a great director and really knows audio, was able to sort of bring out the right tonality. He really understood me. He understood the story. And he was really digging at the truth and that like vulnerability that comes with telling a personal story.
Yeah, well, I like that contrast though. Sometimes contrast good. NPR voice, punk station, that could work, right?
Yeah,
So you had experience, I guess, right? So yeah,
a little bit.
yeah.
Yeah.
So that's what brings this film together is the sound design, right? The obviously the it all connects, right? But it's like it really kind of like pushes the emotion and like not in a manipulative way. It's very subtle, but it's very well done.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we really see through our ears. Um, and I feel like that's what really brings you to the location. But we had some trouble on some things. For instance, there's one sound where a horse dies, and that's not like when he first created a horse sound. Um, he, found a whinny, and so I'm also a horse trainer on the side, so I know horses. So we had to like go through. I recorded a bunch of horses, and we were able to sort of sew together the exact right sounds that would have happened at the moment.
Yeah, that makes sense. So then okay, so you did so you kind of just kind of took your time with it in a sense where like you kind of like use it as a teaching tool, got people together and did you get like a lot of your students, do they go on to other, I'm assuming they go on to making their own films?
Yeah, so they've actually gone off to different jobs and
Sure.
studios, and I'm so proud of my students. I mean, I think that working collaboratively is really what animation is about. It's really a team sport. And I think that with these students, particularly during the COVID era, like it brought us together. So we had bi-weekly meetings where we were all gathering together through Zoom.
Mhm.
And it's really it was like a had a lot of synchronicity to it.
Yeah, God, yeah, that makes sense. And then when did you know that you were okay, now it's time to like finish this film. Let's bring it home.
Well,
Yeah.
I thought I was finished in fall of 2024, and then one of my animators, Hannah Sincata, and again, this is the beauty of collaboration. She said, "Do you mind if I try a little something to make this one shot pop a little bit more?" And she added a little different shading and stuff, and she sent it back to me, the shot, and I said, "Ah, Hannah, it's so good. You just wrecked the film. We have to we have to do this across the entire film." So it added an extra year, but it was totally worth it.
That's amazing. Well, it's so funny because a year, like a year is a year. It's like I know it goes by fast in some contexts, but still, that's another year of your life to do this film.
Yeah, and it's all frame by frame, so that's why it takes so long.
Yeah,
Like
I
we're
know. Yeah,
yeah. So yeah, but it's totally worth it. And at the end of the day, you get to tell the story once, and so you really want to tell it the right way.
yeah. People
And
don't know
then
that.
of course,
People don't know
oh,
that
I was
20.
gonna say,
Go ahead.
go ahead. Sorry.
I was just say people don't
Oh,
know
well,
20 frames per second is so basically it's 20 frames per second. So 24 frames per second. So it's one frame is 24 frames per second. So you have to draw. I'm just giving context of how much it is,
yeah,
like how much, yeah. And it's 11 minute
yeah.
and
So
59-second film.
correct.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So for every, and that's actually, it's even more than that because for every frame, we need to draw the background, the assets, the character design, which then goes through a breakdown pose, a rough animation pose, a cleanup pose, and then we do after all of that the VFX pose and the coloring pose. So each single frame went through at least 6 passes
Wow.
of drawing, hand drawing.
Hand drawing. And so you're I'm
Yeah.
assuming you're still teaching at the school.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
So
So,
what are you working on now?
um, so here's some of my drawings for, I'm doing a short animated piece about sheep right now, and then another about uh, that's really about freedom. So just doing, and then I'm in the research and development stage of another documentary. Um, yeah, so that's what I'm working on, and really enjoying it. And one of the other things is I only work large, so I have a painting and printmaking background. So most of the paintings that are done in this animation are about 3 by 5 feet. Um, and so, and they're all stop motion. So I would draw and then photograph, then draw, then photograph, or paint and photograph. Um, so I don't know if that helps with understanding
Yeah.
the process.
So
Arduous.
this is what you're teaching your students too, right?
Yep, I taught my students that whole straight ahead process, and I also taught them how to bring those films, those files into all the different programs. We brought them into Photoshop, then After Effects and Premiere, and then we color corrected them. And then I did the compositing. So they learned how to edit, they learned how to use all the different programs.
And is all you teach is everything you're teaching is just the 2D anime, the hand drawn animation? Are you teaching any other animation?
So I teach 2D, 3D, and fine art animation. So experimental animation.
Gotcha. And is AI getting into your animation, getting into your teachings?
Um, so AI is something that we
Yeah.
can't get away from. But I'm definitely a traditionalist, and I love working with my hands. So even if I'm doing 3D, I want to make sure that it looks like it has come from my hand. I want it to feel like the artist has done it. Because I feel like art, one of the things that art does is make the connection between two people. It builds that bridge for us. And so I want that bridge to really feel unique to my making, my hand. Um, and I don't think AI does that. So I do stay away from it, although it is embedded in a lot of these programs that we use. So if we color correct or do anything like that, it's I think it's going to sneak in somehow, but I don't want it to be part of my process.
Gotcha. The creative process. So yeah, I was just talking to an animator from Australia last night. She's younger. She's just starting out, and she made a great film, part of your festival as well. And she was kind of saying the same way, where it's like it's about the creative journey. It's about the you have your things in the background. It's about kind of like creating something from scratch and processing the creative soul, I guess, inside. Where and I know I'm kind of being a little bit flaky here, but basically, you know what I mean, right? Like you can't AI that, I guess, right?
Totally. I
Yeah,
mean, AI can't, it's right. It's only a collector of things.
yeah,
It's not the thing that brings the heart into it in the story.
yeah.
Um, and I feel like mark making is very much a part of what makes us human, and helps us have that connection. And that's something we really can't, I don't think AI will ever replace.
Well, we always go, and if you look at the history, which obviously you made a historical film, we always go to two different contrasts when something's invented, right? Where like we either go from one extreme to the other. So basically, by that rationale, there is a comeback with the 2D animation, with the hand drawn animation, because of the contrast to the special effects and the CGI and the AI concept, right?
100%.
Yeah,
I think that people are looking for something that's more unique right now. And when it's done by hand, you can't, it's always going to be unique to that person.
yeah. It's because until they, I guess, recreate that, learn how to recreate that, I guess, right? So
I hope not. I hope they'll never recreate that because that's the
no, I
gift that
know.
artists bring, right?
Sorry, I have to ask because it's like it's part of my world now, and I'm assuming you get asked by your students and et cetera, right? So
It's funny, my students are very anti-AI.
yeah, I'm assuming. Well,
And
that's why they're in your program. Like I would expect that, I guess, right? Yeah.
yeah, but I think it's one of those things if they're to learn how to utilize it, but I think again, yeah, you're right. They really want they don't want to lose their artist touch, whether it's in 3D or 2D or 2D digital or traditional work.
Yeah.
So I find a lot of artists actually going back to traditional mediums again.
So so then you're working on the other film right now. You got this film, and which is amazing, and you're going to keep teaching. So the film's doing well. I'm assuming it's doing well on the festival circuit because it's fantastic.
Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, it's doing well, and my next big stop is Poland. It's going to the Animation International Film Festival there. So I'm really excited. One of the things that my goals for this film when I set out was that I wanted it to show in the location that it was created.
Mhm.
I wanted it to show in Berlin so that if possibly Esther was there, she could find it. And I wanted it to show in Poland where Gusta was from originally.
Mhm.
So, and I'm getting to close that loop. So I'm really taking the film to all the areas that Gusta lived, so that sort of her stamp can be there.
Well, that's amazing. And so hopefully, yeah, hopefully they can, miracles can happen, right? They can, what you're looking for, they see the film, right? So,
Yeah,
yeah,
that'd be amazing.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's the timeless aspect of your film, right? Because it's 2D animation, but then, like you said, there's a macro story here where all unfortunately a lot of people relate to this film, right?
Yes, actually, and that's another beautiful part that going to film festivals, I keep meeting people that say they have a similar story,
Yeah.
and that this resonates with them. They know people that have come over as refugees, or have survived, or have been trapped behind the Iron Curtain, um, uh, all sorts of things, and of course, surviving the Nazis. You see, that's
Yeah.
you know horrific. War is horrific. Um, And I think that it's something that gives us generational trauma. Um, and so we sort of have to really delve into that.
Well, yeah, that's being proven it's being genetically distributed to the next generation, I guess, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So, and I think that we can't we can't minimize the amount of resilience that it takes to be compassionate and to have love. And I think particularly in trying times like right now, it gives me hope, because if you have somebody that has survived so much and can be so compassionate and so loving and so caring, and who has turned my life around, I feel like those are things that compassion and love is what's going to carry us forward and keep us human.
Well, hopefully, yeah. Yeah, hopefully that is the case, and that's what will keep us going, I guess, right? So, yeah,
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 and just caring for one another.
yeah, yeah. Historically has shown us that can be true, and historically has shown us that we can be a very selfish bunch of humans, right? So hopefully
Yeah,
the love prevails.
yeah. Hopefully, love prevails, and hopefully, this story will, as it goes out, will give people hope that intergenerational love is a tool for going forward. That we still can be compassionate, and we can't give up. We just can't.
All right. On that note, I can't wait to see your next film. Hopefully, it's done sooner than 5 years, and you're on your way. And like, it's fantastic. I just think this film's great. So, and you put it's just like the meticulous. You did the job. You put your time in, right? That
Thank you so much.
yeah. and you know that you could have done more, right? But you know, you just have to, you have to finish the film eventually, right? So
100%. It's like if it got to that point that I was like, if I tweak it more, it's going to take another year. So yeah,
exactly. Yeah.
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 So
Exactly.
you're right. It's art. It never gets done. It just
No.
run out of time.
They say that you don't finish the film, you abandon it, right? Because you have to move on to the next project, right?
Correct. And also, I think the other thing is after 5 years, I mean, at the end of this film, I'm not the same artist that I was at the
Yeah.
beginning. So I need to go and work on a different film because this film has made me grow. And so I have to then take that to the next one.
Great.
And each time I try to do a different medium, so I always want to keep it fresh. I like being lost in my mediums.
That's amazing. Well, I'm glad you. It's amazing you have the freedom to do that, right? Because I'm sure a lot of people would love to have that what you have. So, and you don't take it for
Thank,
granted. I can see that. So it's great.
thank you so much.
All right. Well, let's talk again soon. And I appreciate your time and looking forward to seeing what you do next.
Well, thank you so much. Thanks, Matthew. This was a wonderful interview, and I really appreciate talking to you. That was wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you.